welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. This is the first book in this duology. This video will be spoiler free, so if you haven't read this book then you can watch my review because I'm not going to mention any spoilers. I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I loved the plot. I love the time travel aspect. The characters were likable. The writing style was very lovely. And all in all, this was a really great book. So this is considered a young adult. I don't know if it's necessarily considered fantasy or science fiction. I would say it's more science fiction because of the time traveling aspect. I wouldn't necessarily consider it fantasy because it is set in our world, just different times of our world, like 1776 and the 1900s. But of course, it's not contemporary because of the time traveling aspect of this book. So I'm going to start by giving a quick synopsis of this book. We follow our two main characters, Etta and Nicholas, and they are both time travelers that are thrown into this treasure hunt to find this valuable object that was apparently stolen, and they're having to do that by jumping through different time eras. Now, Etta was born in present-day New York, and she is kidnapped by the Ironwood family, which is the family that pretty much rules over all of the time traveling. And she is kidnapped by this family, and she is told that she needs to find this valuable object. In order to do that, she has to decipher all of these different clues that was left for her to find this object. And Nicholas joins her along this treasure hunt and tries to help her along the way. Now, Nicholas is he's either from 1776 or the 1900s. It was really interesting to see their worlds kind of collide because Etta is not used to the proper, like, how society is in 1776, and Nicholas is also trying to learn about Etta and like how she grew up and how society is in present day New York, you know, completely different. And that's one of the biggest things that I really loved about this story. I loved the detail that was put into the different times that we went through. So for example, when Etta gets into 1776, she is told to wear different clothes, and she's kind of taught how to act and like the proper etiquette and how like society is. They have to blend in. So I really enjoyed all the detail of that. We got to learn about like what women wore and how they spoke, and it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed the research and all the details that was put into that. I also really liked the pacing of the story. It was pretty good. I got into it fairly quickly. The plot, you know, moved along. The only thing that I think went a little too fast is the relationship between Nick and Etta. I felt like it was a little bit insta-love, but it still works. It's not that big of a deal. It's easy to get past. So that was kind of my only drawback to this book, and like kind of like the pacing. It was a little too insta-love. I also really loved the politics between the different time traveling families. Like I said, the Ironwood is the family that rules over all of the time travelers, and Cyrus Ironwood is like the head guy. It's really interesting to learn the different politics between the different families and kind of what happened and how he came to rule and stuff like that, and how Etta's family falls into all of this. The plot as well was not too predictable. There were times where I was quite surprised. The ending is quite shocking actually, so that I was not expecting, which is good. I always like a book that kind of keeps me on the edge of my seat and keeps me, you know, wanting to turn the page. Okay, so kind of going into the characters. I really loved the characters. I loved Nick and Etta. I loved their relationship. Like I said, I really liked seeing them interact together. She adapts really well. Let me say that. She actually adapts really well, which is one of the great qualities of Etta. She's very strong. She's determined. She's loyal. Scenes where people make racist comments towards Nicholas, Etta becomes very defensive and angry, and I like that. I loved how loyal she becomes to Nicholas pretty quickly. I like how they had that bond spark pretty quickly, even though I don't really like the insta-love, but the friendship and the bonding, I like that. I also loved Nicholas, like I said. He's very strong, he's determined, he is just all in all a really, really great character. Alright guys, well that is kind of it for my non-spoiler review of Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've read this book and what you thought of it. Definitely leave your comments down below, but no spoilers. Well, that is all that I have to say, and I will see you next time in another video. Bye!